So I'm here, I'm a coach, and I'm here hopefully to rescue the image of coaches out there after Agath's speech. It's fine, it's totally fine. I totally agree with her presentation, by the way. So it's fine, we're cool, we're in peace, we'll have a drink afterwards. But anyway, I'll try to rescue some of your, some of you. So back in early 2020, I was single, unemployed, suffering with PTSD, anxiety, and depression. And I remember I told some of my friends, it's okay, because this will someday be the beginning of my TED Talk. And this is the closest. This is the closest I got to a TED Talk so far, so it's for you guys. So let me start here before I get into what I did in this situation and after it, let me first explain you how I got into it. So it was end of 2018. I was going through a breakup, super sad, really painful breakup. We loved each other dearly, but we just couldn't figure out a way of being together. So you do what you do. You have your glass of wine, you watch your Netflix all romantic series, but not too romantic because it's a breakup. You take your bubble baths, you cry with your friends, but somehow I was really struggling. I was really having a hard time coping with it. So I had the best idea anyone could ever have. I went on Tinder.
Oh no!
Right? I mean, best idea you can have. You're in pain, suffering from a breakup, you're vulnerable. What do? Go on Tinder. Great. I mean, you guys obviously know this was not a good idea. So I matched with this guy. Very handsome, very attractive, extremely smart businessman. And actually I wasn't looking for anything. I was recovering from a breakup. But in the first date, it was really good. We really hit it off. We had a strong connection. He made me feel safe. I had the space to open up and be vulnerable around him, which was great. So we started seeing each other really often, really soon. And despite some feelings or some gut feelings are, something is not right here, I was just so excited with the whole thing. I didn't want to see any of the red flags. So when someone is telling you in your face they love you, you want to believe them, right? But even if that is 3 weeks after you met, yeah.
Woman, girl.
There you go. So I let myself go. Like I said, everything was great. We had a great time together. We laughed a lot. He was very romantic, very caring. He was always there for me, everything. So it was great from the start. And then now I know what that was. Like she said, that was love bombing. And that's the first phase of an abusive relationship. Because many people think, oh, abusive relationship, it's horrible. And it's like there's abuse and there's physical abuse, mental abuse. They don't start like that, guys. If they start like that, we would know. So they start, it makes you feel like you found your prince. It makes you feel like you found, like in the Beauty and the Beast. So when you love the beast enough, he turns into a prince. It's the other way around. You find your prince, and when you love them enough, they turn into a beast. So this is exactly what happens in an abusive relationship and the love bombing phase. So like I said, I let myself go. And after that, things start slightly changing, slowly. First is a comment about how I dress, about how I talk, and then comparing me to my friends. And then a little anger outburst here, an anger outburst there, some episodes of paranoia, but all of these were followed with extremely romantic apologies. I've never got so many flowers in my life. My apartment was always filled with flowers, flowers at work, flowers at home, little presents, taking you out for dinner. So it was a cycle of completely paranoia and accusing me of cheating on him and whatever crazy stuff you can imagine, and then coming back with this completely romantic paranoia. And I didn't understand what was happening to me. I didn't know. This is a person that you love. This is your partner, your best friend. You don't understand, and you find excuses. He's going through something. He's stressed at work. He's an entrepreneur. Business is not doing well. He's going through depression. He had a poor childhood. And every time you find a new excuse for everything that he's doing. And then you just let yourself go. So one day, I found myself, I didn't understand what was happening, but I also didn't understand the impact it was having on me. So one day I found myself at the hospital. I was at the UK emergency room. I had a throat infection, I had an yeast infection, and I had a very, very bad problem with my digestion. Sorry for the TMI, but to the point that every time I tried to go to the bathroom, all that was coming was blood, because my digestion completely stopped. I was about to go on a business trip to Thailand, and the doctors just looked at me and said, "You're not going anywhere. Your immune system is completely gone." I went home. He picked me up from the hospital. He brought me home. And he took care of me. He took me to his apartment and took care of me for the whole weekend. And then I remember I started crying and I thought, okay, I'm going to die because my immune system is gone. I don't know what's happening with me. I don't know what to believe anymore. I'm just going to go to die. And he was there and he hugged me and he held me and he made me feel better. And then the next day he would have another paranoia attack because, wait a minute, you have a yeast infection and you were not home last night, so you probably slept with someone else. And this is how their mind works, right? So one day, after he physically abused me for the first and only time, thank God, I said I had enough of this. I still couldn't leave, but I said I had enough of this. And I know what you guys are thinking right now. Like, after telling all these horrible stories and all this cycle of abuse, I know what you're probably thinking, and it's probably this: why didn't you leave? And this is a question that all women that suffer from abuse are asked all the time. Why don't you leave? If it was that easy. The reason why I didn't leave is because I couldn't. I didn't know what was happening to me. I didn't understand. This was my best friend, my partner, the man that I loved. He was going through something. And because I was going through something that I know now, it's called trauma bonding. And no one talks about this, and no one teaches you this in school, in universities, in whatever. No one talks about this, and no one really understands what trauma bonding is until you actually have been through it. So there's a story from Dave Chappelle that I love, very short story that explains what trauma bonding is that I hope will clarify for some of you. Dave Chappelle tells this story in one of his Netflix shows about a pimp who has a hooker who's very profitable, and she wants to leave him, and she doesn't want to work with him anymore. And the pimp is very worried, and he's like, what am I going to do? She's the one who makes the most money. And he talks to other pimp, and the other pimp goes, how about you beat her up, you really break her down, and then you take her, bring her home, give her a bath, clean her wounds, and really take care of her. She will be so thankful that you were the one taking care of her, she will forget you were the one who beat her up in the first place. And this is exactly what happens in abusive relationships, and this is what happened to me. Because if I was in the hospital at the UKE, was because of all the stress that he was putting into me. But he was there. He was the one who picked me up, and he was the one who brought me home and took care of me. And that's the reason why women don't leave, because this kind of trauma, what happens to you, what happens to your body, there are actually studies that show that it changes how your brain produces hormones, and it creates the same effect as a drug addiction. So if you know a woman in an abusive relationship and you keep questioning her, why don't you leave? She can't. And if you keep asking her that question, it doesn't help anyone, because you should look at her and think of her as someone with a drug addiction. So once he physically attacked me once, I said, okay, I had enough. I couldn't leave because I was still in the trauma bonding phase, but I said I had enough, so this time you need to go and look for help. And he said, okay, fine, please don't leave me, please don't leave me. Yeah, I know, and I remember he said he was so depressed and he was going through something, and I know you're a good person, you won't leave me now when I need you the most. And this was his argument all the time. And then he went to the therapist, he came home, and I remember he said, it was a good session, and she just said, she thinks I'm a bit of a narcissist. And I'm like, okay, narcissist. And that word stuck with me, and I was like, okay, the guy is really into himself, that much I knew, but I was like, but this was a psychotherapist who said this word, it probably has a different meaning. So I started Googling it, and I found out narcissistic personality disorder, NPD. And I was in shock because suddenly everything that was happening to me had an explanation. His attitudes, his actions, the love bombing, the trauma bonding, the sleep deprived. The guy didn't let me sleep for months I didn't know this is a strategy of manipulation, because when you're sleep deprived, you are easy to manipulate. And this is a typical behavior of someone with narcissistic personality disorder. I had no idea about any of this. So when I started Googling it, I understood, and I thought, fuck, now I have to go. Now I really have to leave, because one thing, narcissists don't change, and this is proven. It's a fact. There's no way, there's no medication, there's no therapy that's going to make them change. And another thing was, everything I lived with him, the Disney prince I thought I found, everything was a lie. I needed this thought to gain the courage to leave. But it's very painful to hold on to a thought like that everything you lived was a lie. But I needed it. So that's what I hold on to leave. And at this point, you guys are all bummed out, like, oh my God, this talk. Bring me some wine. So as I learned about narcissistic personality disorder, I started looking around in my life and I saw, holy shit, there's so many of them. I was 6 years in a job being mentally abused by a narcissistic boss. I had no idea, and when she was talking before, I was like, oh my God, I so relate to that. So in 1 month, I quit my relationship, I quit my apartment, I quit my job. I started another job in a one-man show company, one-woman show actually, which unfortunately didn't work out due to financial reasons. And that's when, early 2020, I found myself single, unemployed, with PTSD, anxiety, and depression. And this is how I got here. And it's not how I'm going to end the talk, guys. So. It has a good ending. It has a good ending. No, COVID actually was the best year of my life, 2020, and you will see why. So I'm at this stage, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm in my 30s. I'm unemployed. I'm alone, in a country that's not mine, away from my family, going through therapy to heal from trauma. What the fuck? What the fuck? How did I get here? I'm a strong woman, I'm educated, I had an international career. How the fuck did I end up here? It wasn't my fault. It was something that happened to me. I didn't have the awareness. I didn't have the education in that particular matter. I was there, and what could I do? Cry about it? No. So that's when all the years of self-development and looking into working with coaches, working with coaches and with coaching, reading a lot of self-help books helped me have the right mindset. Because where a lot of people could see rock bottom, I saw an opportunity. I could start over. This was my chance. I could build my life again from scratch. And this is exactly what I did with this opportunity. So during my unemployment time, what I did, I gave myself 1 week and I said, you have 1 week, cry about it, do nothing, take your own vacation, it's fine. And it was really hard. I remember the first day I was sitting in my kitchen having coffee and the door from the kitchen cabinet is a little tilted. And I'm like, I'm gonna fix you. Not today. I'm gonna give myself a week. And I gave myself a week. And then after that I thought, okay, enough crying about it. What happened. What can you do about it? And I thought, okay, what is it that you really wanted to do in life? Because with unemployment came the opportunity of time. I never had time for anything. So I thought, what is it that you really wanted to do, but you never had the time? And I loved coaching. I loved coaching since 2015. I was into self-development and having coaching on myself and practicing a lot of self-help practices that I learned. So I thought, okay, you want to do coaching, you need a coaching education. What else? I need a job, because bills. And what job do I want? Which industry? In what terms? What salary? Okay, put that piece in the puzzle. What kind of partner do I want to have in the future? I wasn't nowhere near ready to start dating, but what kind of partner do I want in the future? What is it that I'm going to tolerate and not? And I started creating a vision, and I decided that that vision was what was going to happen for me, no matter what, no matter when. All the love and empathy and energy that I gave to my ex, I decided I deserve it, and I'll give it to myself. Yeah. So So 6 months in my unemployment time, best time of my life again. I remember I finished my classes in my coaching education. I was starting to coach for my practice. I got a job, exactly the job I wanted, in the number of hours I wanted. The salary, maybe not so much as I wanted. But it was great, with a perfect team, no toxicity inside the job. Everyone was great, it was amazing. My boss was also a coach, and it was perfect. And I remember I carry this song with me everywhere I go, because I remember as things started to turn around, I was going to work, and I always played this song every morning before I left the house. And the song says, I know I'm supposed to be lonely now, I'm supposed to be unhappy without someone, but aren't I someone? I am someone, and I can put that love into myself. And then the song goes to say, I'm in love with my future, and I can't wait to meet her. So that was my motto every single day, going to work, practicing for my coaching, learning my coaching, and going to work. And then life rewarded me. That's Christian. And here's the... Sorry. We just got married. And Christian is the living proof that I healed. And I made all the work, and life rewarded me. Sorry, I didn't expect this. Good that this is not a real TED Talk, guys. So. It's a practice, exactly. Thank you. Anyway, so Christian is the extreme opposite of every guy I ever dated. He's calm, he's collected, he's empathic, he's not the dominant type, and he's very understanding, very supportive, gives me the space. And to me, he was really the evidence I healed, because years before, I would be like, he's such a nice guy, so boring. And I know, no, this is the guy I want to marry, this is the guy I want to spend the rest of my life with, and he's German, and I'm happy. So, yeah, we got married in September. Thank you. We created a company together called selfloveshop.com, and our first product is actually helping people to create their vision board, because we want to help other people to create their vision that they really want to work on. It's a vision board kit with a step-by-step guide and a book that I put a lot of love in, a lot of self-development exercises there where people can find their vision. And yeah, I created the Zurafa as well, which is my coaching brand, and I want to talk to you a little bit about it. In my coaching brand, the side of the business that me and Christian have together, my goal is to work with women that suffered with abuse. In the 25th of November, not that long ago, World Health Organization was celebrating the day against violence against women. And I saw this. 1 in 3 women worldwide have experienced physical and or sexual violence, mostly by an intimate partner. 1 in 3. So the chances are in this room I'm not the only one. And here they don't even mention emotional abuse, which, if you ask me, is just as bad. And the problem is, and that's the reason why I want to do this coaching, first I want to educate people for the signs, because if I knew the signs before, maybe I wouldn't have fallen for it. And I also want to help women know that there's a chance that they can heal, that they can find the love for themselves, the love that they are giving to their partners, to their abusive partners. They can find a way to themselves and to heal. Because nowadays, still, there's a lot of stigma. And it's still, even among women, women feel that they cannot ask for help. Because what they will hear first is, why don't you just leave? If it's that bad, you could just leave. And other questions that will just make them feel judged. And what happens is that they will retract and go through it alone. And that's the reason why I'm dedicating my coaching to working with women. I saw this quote, a friend of mine once sent it to me. She's sitting right there. And I think that's the reason why I'm here today, and that's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. Because, like Brené Brown said, someday your horror story will be someone else's survival guide. And that's exactly what I'm trying to do with this coaching. So with this talk, I hope that you guys take with you. Point number one, no matter how rock bottom you are, there's a way out, and it's about your mindsets and the way you perceive things and the way you can work on things. It sucks to be single, unemployed in a country that's not yours, without your family, having PTSD, going through therapy. It sucks. But if you don't have the mental strength to get yourself out of it, to ask for help, then it's going to be really difficult. But you can do it, and it's possible. I know I did it. And another thing is, please bring awareness. And if you know women suffering with abuse, please don't ask them, why don't you just leave? Just offer your kindness and your empathy and be there for them. Don't pressure them, because that's just going to make them step away from you rather than come to you when they need help. So that's the only message that I want to share with you tonight. And my aim is to help these women, because narcissists cannot change, but we can. Thank you.